Hey guys, it's Tim and this is Wrestling Unlimited, as it's Wednesday, and that means tonight was AEW Dynamite, but not just Dynamite and Rampage. Tonight they ran both a Dynamite and a Rampage event because the Rampage event was going to get preempted, so they said why not do a 3-hour block, and they did another 3-hour block. At least this one didn't feel as bad as the last 3-hour block. This one actually flowed pretty well, didn't feel long, and yeah, that overall, not bad. The Rampage stuff, okay, whatever. There was some random stuff on there, and it was just match for match sake. But there were some good storyline beats on Dynamite. We've got 3 new matches, I want to say, for Double or Nothing. I know 2 for sure. Let me double check this. I think it's 3 new matches for Double or Nothing. AEW Double 2024. 2 new official matches. 2 new official matches. No, yeah, 2. But progression towards that. A good, build. I'm not saying that the build for these matches are good. I'm just saying, hey, we actually got told stuff well in advance because this show is a month away still, basically. And a lot of times AEW likes to just throw everything at us at the last minute. So I'm glad that they're giving us stuff with only 4 matches so far, but I'm glad that they're giving us stuff so far in advance. But before we talk about all that, I want to say thank you for joining us here, or me, no Luke tonight. He's busy with some stuff. But thank you for joining me here. Twitch.tv/PWU Unlimited, YouTube.com/Pro Wrestling Unlimited, and podcast services all around the globe like Stitcher, Spotify, Google Pod, Apple Pod, Anchor, iHeartRadio, and so much more. Remember, if you are watching live on Twitch, you can help us out a couple of different ways. You can help us out by hitting that donate button down below, or by donating Twitch bits in the live chat. Also, remember, you can help us out by subscribing to the channel one of 2 different ways. You can either subscribe with a tiered subscription, or you can subscribe with Amazon Prime, because remember, if you have Amazon Prime, then you have Prime Gaming. Prime Gaming gives you a lot of cool things like free games, free stuff for games, and you always get 1 free subscription to any Twitch channel you want to subscribe to throughout the month. And I greatly appreciate it if you did right here for Wrestling Unlimited. Also, remember, you can help us out over on YouTube as well by hitting that subscribe button. That way you know when we post new videos. That way you know when we go live. And that way you know when we post things to the community tab. Hit that join button to become a channel member. As a channel member, you get a lot of cool perks there that we're going to start really implementing more here going forward. But even at the $1 tier, we greatly appreciate the support. And then finally, if you want to get your question, comment, or concern read live on the air, you can do so by heading over and donating a super chat in the live chat on YouTube. And finally, go to the Have a Game Store. Go to the Have a Game Store and buy something. Whether you're buying a new game, whether you're buying an old game, whether you're claiming the free games, they're getting bucks for Rocket League, Fortnite, or Fall Guys. Use this code right here, PW Unlimited, at checkout, and you will be supporting us at no extra cost. Go and get the free games right now. Industria and Lisa, the Lisa, the Definitive Edition. Good till the rest of the day, because starting tomorrow, we got 2 new games, Cat Quest 2 and Orcs Must Die 3. I actually jumped into Orcs Must Die 3 yesterday. That game's really fun. It's also on Game Pass. And remember, there are some NBA stuff in Fortnite if you want to go get that. And there's some new farm equipment and farm barns and all that kinds of things in Lego Fortnite as well. Just use this code PWUNLIMITED for all Epic Games and Epic Game Store purchases. But as far as AEW Dynamite does go, Kid Vicious, Luke's never on the Friday shows. Luke's just had a busy week. And yeah. As far as Dynamite does go, let's pull. Swerve opens up the show. Well, actually, no. I just skipped a whole paragraph. AEW Dynamite comes on the air with Tony Khan at his office, his Jacksonville Jaguars office, again in Jacksonville. He's there via satellite and says that he's sorry he's not there live in Winnipeg to run the show, but doctors have not cleared him to travel, and he must produce the show remotely from his office in Jacksonville. The feed then starts to glitch, and then it cuts to the Young Bucks in the production truck. They said that they weren't fired last week for what they did because they have ironclad contracts that say they can't be fired for any reason. They said if Tony Khan is unreachable, then, well, EVPs are running the show. So they throw to the new Dynamite intro, which is just video and clips of the Elite, Young Bucks, Kazuchika Okada, and Jack Perry. Excalibur then welcomes us to the show alongside Tony Schiavone and Taz, and then out comes the world champion, Swerve Strickland. So for the Young Bucks to be running the show because they're EVPs, I felt like not really anything that any other week wouldn't have happened. Like nothing special happened because they were running the show. I mean, they beat up Kenny. That could have happened even if Tony Khan was there anyway. So what was the whole point of them running the show? You know what I mean? Swerve comes out. Got Prince Nana dancing behind him. He said 3 shows, 3 matches, 1 week. He shows that he's the champion that the fans deserve. So what AEW doesn't deserve is selfish, greedy, childish, power-hungry EVPs who think they can throw their weight around without any consequences, and calls what the Elite did last week to Tony Khan a bitch move. Strickland said that tonight is about learning who he will defend the championship against at Double or Nothing. He said, whomever it is, wipe your feet before entering Swerve's house. Young Bucks then come up on the screen and said success has gotten to Swerve's head. And you don't badmouth the EVPs, even using curse words, which is a fine. The Bucks said that his opponent is one of Canada's finest, a former world champion. And then they say hit the music. And then I don't really care for this. Out comes Christian Cage and the patriarchy. What the shit has Christian Cage done to earn a world title shot? Now, I get it. They told us that there's backstory here. They told us that there's history from 9 months ago between these two guys when they teamed up at All In Wembley. But why? When's the last time we saw Christian Cage? Oh, Revolution. And what happened there? He lost the TNT Championship to Adam Copeland. We haven't seen him since. He hasn't had a match since. His last match was losing a championship. To then come here now and just get another title shot at the bigger belt. Now, I can see if maybe he's trying to get a shot back at the TNT title and wants to face Copeland in a rematch. Okay, that would make a little sense. But he wants to face Swerve? Because Swerve got beat at Wembley in their tag match? No. Nobody is going to care. And I'm a huge Christian Cage fan. Nobody is going to care about Christian as the #1 contender. The main event of the pay-per-view. I'm going to say it right now is dumb. Dumb, diddly, dum, dum, dum. Dum, dum, dum. Because why should we care? I bet you a good percentage of the audience, maybe 80% or more, 90% even maybe, forgot about All In. That they were in that tag match, the tag coffin match, I think it was, and Swerve's the one that lost. How many people even remember that? That is why Christian is now all of a sudden #1 contender. Christian hasn't had any problems, any beef, anything with Swerve till now. And now all of a sudden, he's aligned with the Elite and is getting a title shot because there's history. It's stupid. It's dumb. This makes no sense. Cesare says, I remember the match. I remember the match too, but I don't remember there being any tension between the two afterwards because there wasn't. They lost, and oh well. I don't remember any tension between Swerve and Christian afterwards where Christian would want revenge 9 months later. Fuck this. Anywho, Christian had a mic and faked like he was going to talk, but then instead popped Swerve in the face with it. Strickland tried to battle back with the numbers game. Got a little too much when Nick Wayne and Killswitch started to get involved. Cage hit a Killswitch on the AEW champion. And Nana was also dropped at the Wayne's World. Cage then took the mic and said that there's something Strickland should know. He never forgets. Cage brought up Strickland breaking into Wayne's gym last year and busting him open. Yeah, that's the thing too. But again, that was before Swerve was with, that was before Christian was with Nick Wayne, and that was when Swerve was a heel. Now he's a babyface. It's whatever. None of this from 9-10 months ago. People probably even remember. He also hasn't forgotten about them teaming at All In and Swerve actually losing and embarrassing him. Instead of apologizing, Strickland went on and won the world title. Yeah, that's what you do. You lose a match, you build yourself back up, and you become a champion. Or at least you try to become a champion. Why did he need to apologize to Christian? Cage then brought up Strickland's daughter and said when he's done with him, she's not going to want to know Strickland, but can have a father who she truly can be proud of. Cage said that the pain has just begun as Killswitch ripped hair from Strickland's head, yanked one of the dreads out. He presents it to Nick Wayne, and the world title match is set. Double or nothing, it will be Swerve Strickland defending the AEW World Championship against Christian Cage. As Tony Schiavone once said about Mick Foley, yeah, that'll put butts in seats. No, this is not a main event. Christian has not been built up. He's been built up as a upper level guy, not a main event world title challenger in the least bit at all. So yeah, again, as a huge Christian Cage fan, I've loved Christian Cage since he was in TNA. I mean, I was a Christian fan before, but I became a huge Christian Cage fan when he was in TNA. Anyways, this ain't it. I just feel like there's no buzz, and maybe got to give it some time, but I don't know. It's just whatever. So we got a video package hyping up the feud between Adam Copeland and the House of Black, which then led to our next match. Adam Copeland against a member of the House of Black with a TNT championship on the line. Out would come Buddy Matthews. We had a pretty dang good match. I will say this was a really good match. I liked this match. Well, until the finish. So Matthews made his entrance and traded shoulder blocks with the champion, headlock takedowns, and some quick pin attempts before an early stalemate. Matthew floated over a backdrop, hit a Hurricane Rana, and then both men cut off dive attempts until Copeland managed to connect first, which led to a commercial break. When we returned from the break, Matthews spiked Copeland with a draping DDT through the ropes back into the ring. Matthew kept Copeland grounded before a flapjack connected on Copeland, allowing the reset of the match. Both then climbed to the top rope as Matthew wanted a superplex outside, but both hit heavy shots. At the same time, there was like double bumps off the ropes to the apron and the floor. They teased a double count out, and they just barely made it back in. There's a slugfest that ensued. Some knees were thrown as well as Matthews blocked an impaler. Both then got some more shots in. There was some speed that was used by both men and a hard cross body, which then got things kind of weird. So both men run at each other and then boom, double cross body. All of a sudden you see Aubrey putting gloves on. Aubrey Edwards is the ref of this match. She's putting gloves on, and all of a sudden the camera's cut to Buddy Matthews, who's somewhat bleeding from the mouth, grabbing his abdomen like, oh. And Aubrey kind of like says something in her ear, and then the doctor comes in, and Excalibur gets very kind of like confused and was just like, looks like, this ain't going well for Buddy Matthews. I think we're gonna take a commercial break here. We'll resume the action after the break. We'll get you in picture. And it was just weird. And so Aubrey during the break is checking on Buddy. The doctor comes in to check on Buddy, and eventually Buddy stands up. And him and Copeland just start going at it again, and we finally come back from the break. This was very weird. They tried to play it up like, I don't even know if they were playing it up or they really thought Buddy was hurt. I don't know. I haven't heard or seen anything since this, if he isn't, whatnot. So, Doctor leaves, they get going, come back from the break. Copeland connected with 10 corner punches, but Matthews managed to answer with a Liger bomb for a 2. Both men then fought up the ropes again in the corner and traded superplex attempts, but Copeland connected on an avalanche impaler for a near fall. Matthews cut off a spear attempt with a series of knee strikes into a jackhammer for a 2. Matthews quickly transitioned into a crossface, but Copeland escaped into a high angle slam. Justin Roberts then announced 20 minutes has elapsed, as Copeland missed another spear attempt and Ada go to sleep instead. Matthews missed a curb stomp allowing Copeland to connect with the spear and pick up the victory. So it's like, okay, cool, whatever. Match kind of felt abrupt. Like he calls the 20-minute time and it was like 20. Oh, we got to go. And then all of a sudden it's just like they start going even faster and get to the finish. Because they're like 20. They must have had like 25. And when they got to the 20, knew, oh crap, we still need to get that post-match in. So, post-match. Copeland attacks Matthews and grabs 2 chairs at ringside. And commentary is like, oh, we know what he's doing when he grabs 2 chairs. And Taz is like, I've seen this before. I've experienced this. Da-da-da-da-da-da. So he sets Buddy up for a concerto, but then the lights go out. When they come back on, Malachi was in the ring and told Copeland, do it. Matthews recovers enough, though, to ask for the chair shot as well. Copeland went to swing at Black, but then the lights go out. They return and they're all gone. And Copeland is in the ring by himself. Voodoo, magic, whatever. Great match. I thoroughly enjoyed the match. Got a little awkward when they did the injury part to Matthews and they were checking on him and everything, but yeah. This then leads to SMJ Joe and Isaiah Cassidy. Why did this match need to go as long as it did? I got no notes for this match. Well, some notes, but not many because the match was just there. The match went like 8 minutes. Could have been, 5 of these could have been cut. Joe did not need to go 50-50 with Isaiah Cassidy. Maybe it was more 60-40, but still, Isaiah Cassidy did not need to get this much offense on SMJ Joe. This was just, no. So Joe conducted the crowd in a Joe's gonna kill you chant early on as Cassidy grabbed Joe's towel and mocked him with a little dance. All that was the result in Joe connected with the pop-up flapjack, causing Cassidy to scream. Joe then lit up Cassidy in the corner with some shots as Cassidy used his speed to catch Joe with the springboard stunner off the ropes. Cassidy then went for a somersault dive to the outside, and Joe did his walk-off spot where he just walks away, and this was a dumbass spot. Isaiah Cassidy could have got so hurt here. Literally, does a flip dive to the outside and just splat right on the mat, right on the floor. He could have seriously hurt his back or something else on him. And nope, he just takes this dumbass bump. He just goes splat. Back in the ring, Cassidy kind of does, but really doesn't sell any of it, which is like, huh? Cassidy manages to pop up drop kick, tried to go for a monkey flip, and Joe didn't budge. Joe instead spun Cassidy around, connected with a muscle buster, and pinned him to pick up the victory. A match that went like 5, 6, 7 minutes, really could have gone 3, 4 at the most. Get a video from Sky Blue challenging Willow Nightingale to a match for the TBS Championship later tonight on Rampage. She wants revenge for Julia. Cool. Here's my thing. I know I'm complaining a lot, but I've talked about this in the past. When a title match gets announced, I don't like it when the champion defends the title before that. Willow is defending the TBS Championship against Mercedes Monae at Double or Nothing. So why is she defending the title against all these randoms before? It makes these random matches, random title matches, meaningless. Why should we care? They've built up Willow and Mercedes with an actual story. There's a backstory and everything here. Yet we get this match and commentary's telling us, well, whichever woman wins is going to defend against Mercedes in Vegas. Whatever woman. We know what the backstory is. We know that there's a build-up for the match. It's Willow. Willow's not dropping the belt before the match. So it's like, why should we even care that this is a title match? It's just, we shouldn't. Shouldn't at all. Then we move on to Orange Cassidy coming down to the ring, and he made a pretty big announcement that may or may not be real. May not be shoot. I don't know. Orange Cassidy made his way down to the ring and said that he hates this. He thought Chuck Taylor and Trent Beretta fighting last Saturday would have gotten it all out of their systems. But it didn't. They're not best friends anymore. He said, unfortunately, that's not going to happen. They can't be best friends anymore. And he wants to inform everybody that, well, Chuck Taylor will never wrestle again. And I said, whoa, huh? Never wrestle again? Is this storyline? Is this real? What the hell? Cassidy was then cut off by Trent Beretta coming out on stage, who said, what a surprise. He quit. Da-da-da. Cassidy then runs at him, but security stops him instead. Chris Statlander then comes out. Beretta yelled at Cassidy to say that he is selfish. When Don Callis would come down and actually calm down Orange Cassidy, and then Orange Cassidy and Don leave together, and Beretta gives the thumbs up to the live crowd. So a couple of things here. A, Chuck Taylor retired? Chuck can't wrestle no more? Is that a just an AEW for now kind of thing? Or is he really like done? I don't know. But then the other thing, Orange with Don? Where the hell is that leading to? When they did the street fight last week, they showed Don Callis watching. I thought Don was going to try and align himself and bring Trent into the Don Callis family. No, it looks like he's trying to bring Orange into the Don Callis family. So I don't know what the hell is going on. But if we do hear anything further on the Chuck Taylor situation, where Orange Cassidy said he will never wrestle again, I'll let you guys know what we find out. Renee gets backstage with the Young Bucks, who say she's killing it. Ask about the family and how John's doing and everything. Nicholas then said, "We've had too much time on TV. Yeah, we're done. Let's give it to the Scapegoat. Scapegoat, come talk." Perry comes up and said last week he did what's best for AEW, as Tony Khan made him the scapegoat, and he needed to prove a point. He said it was a sacrifice he was willing to make, as sacrifices should be made by everyone. As we're now in a new era, the era of the elite. Yet Swerve said we're in the Swerve era. So what era is it? Oh, wait, WWE's using the new era stuff, so AEW's got to copy them. That's what it feels like. I remember last time AEW did the whole, this is the era of so-and-so, this is the era of this, but WWE started doing it at WrestleMania, and now all of a sudden AEW's doing the whole era thing. Come on. Be original. And don't get me started on being original. We're the best wrestle. What does that sound like? AEW. We're the best wrestle. What does that sound like? WCW. Where the big boys play. Yeah, it's the same goddamn thing. Let's be more original, Tony Khan. Then we had an FTW title match. Chris Jericho defending against Katsuyori Shibata. The match was a good mix between hard-hitting and comedy. Both men red chests, so you could tell they were really beating the crap out of each other. And yeah, I thought this was a fun time altogether. Jericho's dad, Ted Irvine, was sitting front row to watch his son win. He gets his ass beat. And I felt like there was just a little too much of Taz is mad at this, and Taz is mad at that, and Taz is mad. But then Taz ain't going to do nothing about it. So Taz is moaning and bitching and whining on commentary, pulling me away from the match. My focus is listening to Taz, not realizing what's going on in this match. And eventually I'm just like, all right, fuck Taz and his bitching and moaning on commentary. I'm not even going to pay attention to that anymore. So apparently the FTW title is now considered the Learning Tree Chris Jericho's for the World Championship. And they say that on commentary, and Taz is like, no, Excalibur, you know what this title really stands for, what FTW really means. Also tell us, Shabazz been doing this for like 24, 25 years. This is the first time he's ever been in a no disqualification match, as it is FTW rules. So both men start trading chops early on as Jericho hit an early lion salt, but his knees landed on the low blow of Shibata. Jericho then grabbed a trash can lid and smacked Shibata in the head with it, which was tough to watch knowing Shibata's history with his brain and all that. Pulling a bag from under the ring and, well, hockey pucks. I go, okay, that's different. I like that. It's thinking. Where are we? Winnipeg. What's big in Winnipeg? Hockey. Okay. I've never seen especially that many hockey pucks used in a wrestling match. But to get the hockey pucks and dump them in the ring and all that, it just felt like it took a little too long. And Shibata did deliver an STO on them to Jericho. Follows up with a snap suplex. Another chop battle did ensue, with Shibata pretty much no-selling the chops of Jericho, as his chops echoed loudly across the chest of Jericho throughout the building. We then go to a commercial break. It was literally all chops during the break, but when they returned, Jericho chucked a puck. Say that 5 times fast. Chucked the puck, chucked the puck, chucked the puck, chucked the puck, chucked the puck at Shibata. And shot a double leg and applied the wall. Jericho then shot a double leg, applied the walls to Jericho. Shibata escaped and applied a figure 4, but then Jericho grabbed another puck and threw it right in his mouth. Taz then gets the teed up joke of, what a puck! Or what the puck? Calber said that he only gets one of those, which that was kind of funny. He was like, what the puck? And Calber goes, oh, you only get one of those. So that was a little funny. But Jericho then placed a trash can over Shibata's head as Shibata was sitting in the corner. And then he just starts whacking the trash can with a kendo stick over and over again. Shibata basically no-sells it, rises to his feet, stalked Jericho down while wearing the trash can, ultimately smashing Jericho in the head while trapping Jericho in the corner. Shibata connected with a running drop kick for a 2. Shibata then tossed the kendo stick to Jericho and sat down, wanting a duel. Jericho obliged, but Shibata's first shot was right across the face. After a back and forth here, Shibata hit a kendo stick assisted back suplex onto the pucks before setting a table in the corner. Shibata charged, but hit a code breaker for a 2. Shibata dodged a Judas effect into a rear naked choke, into a ripcord chop. Shibata then positioned the table, but Big Bill would run down and chokeslam Shibata through the table. Bill kind of bailed a little bit. Jericho made the cover and retained the championship. This actually builds to a segment on the Rampage portion of the night later on. Brandon gets backstage with Willow, Nightingale. Chris Statlander's there, Stokely Hathaway, and Statlander apologizes for last week in trying to defuse the situation and, well, just making it worse. Paquette brings up Sky Blue in her challenge, as Nightingale said. She's in for a fight, and she'll do it tonight. Nightingale will maim Blue tonight in a Manitoba Massacre match, as Hathaway said that he can't complain about Blue's comments about him since Tony Khan was taken out by the Young Bucks. Paquette was then handed a cell phone by one Will Washington, and it had a note from the Bucks on it saying, hey, I want to let you guys know, just by the way, well, Chris Statlander, Stokely Hathaway, has been banned from ringside tonight on Rampage. And if they interfere, Nightingale will strip to the TBS Championship. Totally don't get why they did that. Why the Young Bucks needed to make that stipulation. It made no sense. It's not like Sky Blue is part of the Elite, and so they're trying to help her have, an even playing field instead of Willow having the advantage with the help. So I don't know. That made no sense to me, but the match was fine later on. This then led to an action-packed match between Claudio Castagnoli and Brian Cage. It was action-packed. Crowd was into it from the start, but at the same time, it's like, why should we care about this? Who are we supposed to care about? Brian Cage? Claudio because he's the babyface? Like, where's this leading to? Claudio's getting what later from this? It's just a match for match sake with no steps as far as like where this leads to with Claudio winning. But anyways, no Prince Nana with Cage due to him being attacked earlier. Both men then charged right at the bell and ducked a couple lariats. Both men then traded suplexes as one another would just pop right up and they'd go for it and stuff. Cage connected with a Hurricane Rana. Cage tried to leapfrog, but Castagnoli caught him in midair and hit a tilt-a-whirl backbreaker. There was a stalling body slam and a double stomp that led to Castagnoli trying for some corner punches, but Cage sent him into the apron, allowing him to suplex him to the outside. From the outside. Back from a commercial break, Cage connected on a Tiger Feint kick and a discus lariat for a 2. Castagnoli floated over a drill claw attempt into a springboard spinning uppercut into the reset. More uppercuts and whatnot from Claudio Castagnoli as both started to trade big boots. There's thrust kick from Castagnoli as well. That led to a Tiger Feint kick and a discus lariat of his own. Cage responded with a water whirl drop, but Castagnoli answered with the pop-up uppercut and got a 2 off of it. There's a giant swing into a sharpshooter, and Cage taps out. So it's like, cool. I like the match. It was a good match. These two worked really well together. But now what? Where is this leading to? What is next for Claudio since he did pick up the victory? Go to the back with Renee Paquette. She got Rocky Romero there, and she asked, what's going on with best friends? Are you picking sides? What are we doing? Romero said, I'm not. I'm moving on. No one wins in this scenario. And so it's time to do my own thing. Romero says that he wants to fight the best because AEW is where the best wrestle. And to do that, he needs to fight somebody that not only has he teamed up with and had, good experiences with together, but now somebody he feels like he can have a good match against, and that's Kyle O'Reilly. So he says that he wants to face Kyle O'Reilly later tonight on Rampage. He said, my goal is to get myself to a title shot, and I have to face the best and get wins to get to that title shot. So it's Serena Deeb versus Mariah May. And here's where shit just made no sense. So Christian Cage becomes the #1 contender for the AEW World Championship. A man that when the rankings came out last, he was not ranked. And you may ask, well, maybe because he was the TNT champion. He wasn't. Copeland already won the TNT championship back on March 30th. These rankings came out on April 6th, whatever. So we get the world title match announced where rankings mean nothing for it. But this entire match, the narrative that commentary was making over and over and over was, last time we saw the rankings, Serena Deeb and Mariah May were both top 5 ranked wrestlers. Top 5 ranked wrestlers in the women's division. And whoever comes out victorious tonight should be ranked #1 and get a shot at the AEW Women's Championship. And they brought this up over and over and over again. So which is it? Is it we're just going to give title shots to any old fool? Or is it rankings matter and your positioning in the rankings means you're going to get a title shot? Which is it? It can't be both. Your rankings either have to matter for everything or get rid of them. Because it gets so confusing when rankings matter for one belt, but they don't matter for another belt. And you can do this for that belt, but this belt needs to do that. It's so ass backwards. We either do the rankings for everything or the rankings for nothing. Come on. As far as the match does go, it was an okay match. Crowd was semi into it, I would say. So after trading some wrist control early on, Deeb switched to the leg, wrapped up May in a paradise lock, and drop kicked her out of it. The quick series of takedowns by Deeb, who again folded May up like a pretzel, but let it go, allowing May to fire off some strikes of her own in the corner. There was a headstand head scissors, and a shotgun drop kick that sent Deeb reeling as things would do a commercial break. May controlled the entire break, but Deeb was just messing with her, starting her comeback as we return from the break. There's a neck breaker through the ropes that delivered by Deeb as May dodged a ripcord back elbow, but not a spinning neck breaker. There's a series of counters. Deeb delivered a snap German suplex and a hammerlock lariat for a 2. May avoided a figure 4, went to the top, and hit a picture-perfect shotgun dropkick. May delivered a sweet cheek music, but Deeb kicked out. There was a charging knee that connected as May went for the Mayday, but Deeb instead sank in a crucifix and traded some pin attempts. Deeb dazzled May into a rolling backslide, but May kicked out and hit a slam of her own. May then traded a headstand head scissors again, or tried a headstand head scissors again, but Deeb had it scouted this time and hit got her in the half crab. Deeb ranked it down, but Storm threw in the towel, and the referee stops the match with Mariah May not tapping out. So commentary has to go on the defense and say, well, Mariah May was never going to tap, or Mariah May was not going to give up in this match, and so Toni Storm had to do the right thing. Cool. They immediately then announced at Double or Nothing, it will be Toni Storm defending the AEW Women's World Championship against Serena Deeb. And my first thought is, they're really setting up, ticket selling, pay-per-view selling matches here, aren't they? Christian and Swerve. Most people probably don't care about that, really. Toni Storm and Serena Deeb. Who cares about that one? Like, come on, people. What are we doing here? Like, Roderick Strong and Will Ospreay for the International Championship. That should be pretty good. I guess Ospreay won some, what I was told, janky gauntlet match last week. I didn't see it because I was in Texas working another job, running my business. But anyways, we've got, let me see again, Double or Nothing. 4 matches officially announced. Like I said, Swerve and Christian for the AEW World Championship. Storm and Deeb for the Women's Championship. Strong and Ospreay for the International Championship. And Nightingale and Monae for the Women's for the TBS Championship. So, kill. We got more Renee Paquette. She's backstage with Copeland, Adam Copeland. And we did learn earlier during that last match that Copeland will defend the TNT Championship again next week, this time against Brody Lee. Not Brody Lee. Brody King. I don't know why I said Brody Lee. Anyways. Copeland was asked if he's okay. He said, yeah. Copeland pondered his answer. And then Kyle O'Reilly would walk up and be like, that's proud Canadian. I looked up to you. I want to help if you need it against the House of Black. I'll have your back. Copeland was going to thank him. We saw O'Reilly looking at the TNT title and told him, eyes up. Eyes up. Basically like, oh, I know you want to help me. You want to get in good, so I give you a title shot. Ultimately thanked him for the assist or the offer of assist and then said, hey, good luck against Rocky later. Then we go to our main event segment of Dynamite. Justin Roberts says, and now it's time. He has the whole massive from North Carolina, which has always been dumb to me. He's like, and Winnipeg, Manitoba's own. And he answers Kenny Omega. Kenny Omega comes out, takes a mic, and said, well, he's never been good at talking about injuries. And after spending 10 days in the hospital, he was informed that he was 24 hours from dying. If he would have showed up to the hospital a day later, he would not have made it. Doctors told him that he needed to get this handled. And he needed surgery. But if he got the surgery then, he would be left with a colostomy bag. For how long? They didn't know. Maybe a week, maybe a month, maybe 6 months, maybe 12 months, maybe forever. He said that he didn't want that. And that's what his other options were. They said, well, you got a ticking time bomb in your abdomen. And any sort of blunt force trauma can kill you. Like I said, since that day, he had to stop watching because, well, it was hard. And it scared him. For the first time in his career, he felt like a coward because he couldn't do what he wanted to do. He said maybe this whole thing was to come out and say that he should retire. Maybe that's why he's here tonight. But then, when he heard Justin Roberts announce him and the reaction from the crowd here in Winnipeg, he knew that was not the answer. He was not going to retire. He said, I don't know how long it is till I can come back, but I will come back. He's like, I want to have matches with guys like Swerve Strickland. I want to be facing guys like Bryan Danielson and Will Ospreay having the greatest matches of all time. Omega said he started shaking again by watching Dynasty. He said the tremors were hitting and I knew this was my life. He said being the best is what fuels him. And he hates it that he's been forgotten as the best wrestler in the world. Omega has made a promise that he will be back. Even if there's a 1% chance, bag or no bag, I will get back in this ring. This man said that he will have a match while holding a colostomy bag. Like, what? God dang. He said, man, I may have been fired from the Elite, but they're not the only EVPs. I'm an EVP as well, and they can't fire me as an EVP. Until someone says otherwise, part of this company belongs to the best bout machine. We hear the coins drop, and out comes Kazuchika Okada. He gets in the ring, goes face to face with Kenny Omega, and the crowd chants, holy shit. Omega said something in Japanese, and then says, we had a hell of a rivalry in New Japan, didn't we? Well, how about in a couple of months? Continue and finish things right here in this ring. Okada says, I'm sorry, but you're not the best bout machine anymore. And then Jack Perry runs in from behind and attacks Kenny Omega. Okada then throws a chair in the ring as Perry takes it and wipes out security, throwing Omega in, allowing Omega to try and get up and fight. Omega grabs Perry and hits him with a Snapdragon suplex. And I go, wait, hold the phone. First off, you knocked the guy out, and now he's doing moves. Is Kenny cleared? I doubt it, but is what the what? Kenny sells it big, like his abdomen's in pain, like writhing in pain. Young Bucks then run down. They tell Okada and Perry, relax, relax, relax. They grab Kenny's arms. And we know what they're doing. They hit him with the EVP trigger. Okada was about to deliver a Rainmaker when out would come FTR to make the save. The Elite bail, and Dynamite goes off the air. Immediately the screen goes black, comes back up, and boom, we're in Rampage, and more happens. So they grab Omega and they put him on a stretcher. They start to stretcher him out. And they're taking him to the ambulance in the back. FTR's with him. And as they get to the ambulance, but they don't put him in yet, here comes the Elite. And they beat down FTR. They all then surround Kenny Omega, who is laying here, strapped onto this stretcher. And they're talking to Kenny, and they're saying, oh, what's going on? What's wrong, Kenny? You're not the same Kenny Omega. They flip the stretcher. He falls down, and Matthew goes, yeah, so I want to check on this guy. This is before Matthew was yelling at him, change the world? Change the world, Kenny? We were supposed to change the world? Well, let's change the world. So Matthew at one point said that he loves Kenny to death, but this is nothing more than business. Eventually they leave. Dax runs over to check on Kenny, and yeah. Well, not runs over, he kind of like crawls over to him, but that's how the segment ends. That's the last we see of all of them. Then we get Rampage. Just some matches. Rampage comes on. Out comes Switchblade Jay White. He's taking on Dante Martin. Martin wasted no time showing off his athleticism with a short dive to the floor. He backflipped off the apron, landed on his feet, and delivered a pump knee. Back inside the ring, Martin wanted a springboard, but White swept the legs, and he crashed down and to go to commercial break. White then controlled during the break, but Martin hit a drop kick that led to the reset. Martin then flipped out off the ropes into a series of crossbodies for a 2. Martin took too long to follow up on this, and White hit a Uranagi. Both men then slugged it out as White was hung up in the ropes, with Martin connecting on a nosedive for a close near fall. Martin went for a spinning slam, but White countered into a sleeper suplex and a Blade Runner, spiking Martin and pinning him to pick up the victory. There we go. Jay White picks up the win. White was going to leave, raised the hand of Martin, thinking, oh, sportsmanship, and then suckered him in to a Bloody Sunday before bailing as Darius and Action Andretti ran down to make the save. They then send it to the newest member of the AEW broadcast team, Arcady, I'm going to butcher the Arcady Aura. I guess she debuted on the shows last week. She's standing by with Deonna Purrazzo, who said that she attacked Thunder Rosa last week because she said when enough is enough, Virtuosa is going to stand up for herself. She says she's the Virtuosa, and after last week, she's starting to feel like herself again. And if Rosa wants to make this personal, Well, that's exactly what's going to happen. It looks like we're building to a Deonna Purrazzo Thunder Rosa match, which they've been building to for like a month and a half now. We get a video package basically telling us Roosh is back. Roosh was back on Collision, but with no announcement ahead of time, no fanfare, no nothing. He just had a match and won it. And so now we got the whole, I'm a former ROH champion. I'm here to win titles. I'm here to be the best, this and that. And I'm cleared and good to go. And it gets them backstage with Big Bill, who said that he wants to be under the learning tree of Chris Jericho. He knows that he could be a top guy and just needs the proper guidance to do so. Jericho then comes up and says, I can give you that guidance. I can take you to the promised land. Jericho is smiling and thanks him for the help against Shibata. Jericho then said, and you're right, you do well under the tutelage of myself. He said, if you do it, I will allow you to join the Jericho Vortex and learn from the learning tree. And Bill's like, well, that's what I just said. So yeah. And Jericho goes, well, with me and the big redwood, Big Bill, the learning tree is growing. And Big Bill's like, big redwood? Like, he's like, where the hell did that come from? Big redwood. You got Swerve. He's in the back. The Christian Cage chose to team with him at All In because he knew that he was capable of what he was capable of. Capable of losing. It seems like Cage forgot what he's capable of. And next week, we'll remind Christian Cage exactly who he is, but he's not coming alone. So the question is, who's he coming with? And commentary even mentioned that. They're like, who's he coming with? Can't just be Prince Nana. Remember, he's got a whole mogul embassy. Christian Cage, Gates of Agony. Didn't really do much with Swerve, so it's like, what are we doing? Who? Monteith? So we got Kyle O'Reilly versus Rocky Romero. A fun match that really meant nothing. Both men showed that they know each other pretty well, and there was a standoff after, like a stalemate, after a bunch of attempts of different things. O'Reilly gets the first submission attempt with an ankle lock, but Romero rose into an enziguri, and they go to the floor, where Romero followed this up with a tope. Rocky then tried again, but O'Reilly caught him with a cross-arm breaker on the floor as things go to a commercial break. When things return from the break, both men are kicking and slugging it out until O'Reilly connected with a Nigel Lariat for a double down spot. O'Reilly then set up Romero in the corner, but Romero battled back and hit an avalanche sliced bread for a close 2. Romero shot for a single, but O'Reilly caught him with a knee strike. Romero then battled back, but walked right into an O'Reilly Kimura, which he escaped into an arm breaker. Both men then started trading submission holds and pin attempts and this and that until Romero got him into a Kimura of his own, but O'Reilly countered, rolled him up in 1, 2, 3 quick flash pin victory. We send it again to our Acrady Aura. She's backstage with Saraya and Harley Cameron, and this was random as shit. They're just like, Mariah May lost. Her last name's May, right? That's her name. And they're like, you know what? We should just call her Tiny Tony. How about next week? We show her what it's all about. Tiny Tony. So I guess Harley Cameron versus Mariah May next week on Dynamite, I think. Because Harley Cameron then started to like just ramble, and Saraya's like, all right, you're done. Let's go. Let's go. So I tried to like hit Saraya with a towel or whatever, the towel, because, Tony threw in the towel. And I don't know. I guess it's Harley Cameron versus Mariah May next week on Dynamite. Cool. Go to break, come back, and Aura is backstage once again with another interview, this time with the Undisputed Kingdom. She asks about Roderick Strong and his international championship match at Double or Nothing against Will Ospreay. Matt Taven then calls Aura not Lexi, but said that it should be not Renee, as he scolded her and put over the next Strong. Strong then said the aerial assassin will need all the bullets in his chamber to defeat him. At Double or Nothing, Will Ospreay will fall to the Messiah of the Backbreaker. Cool. So apparently, last week on Dynamite, Will Ospreay won what they called the Casino Gauntlet match. Yet tonight, they didn't tell us that. They just were all of a sudden like, Will Ospreay's challenging for the International Championship at Double or Nothing. If you were like me and didn't watch Double or Dynamite last week, then you had no idea how this match got made, because they didn't tell you how this match got made and why Will Ospreay actually earned the title shot. Because really, it came off of, shit, did this match get announced? Is this just now? So, yeah. That's a whole thing. No follow-up to how Ospreay got the title shot. So, you're better on that. And there's a lot of people that have criticized AEW for not having proper follow-up to things, especially follow-up on things that are important, like a man winning a title shot. Let's get the poll up really fast. What did you think of Dynamite and Rampage? Liked it. It was all right. I didn't like it. All right, if you're watching on Twitch, the poll is now live as we go into our main event, a Manitoba Massacre for the TBS Championship. Willow, Nightingale, Sky Blue. Remember, Chris Statlander and Stokely Hathaway banned from ringside. They came out with Willow, and then they had to leave. This match was just a huge spot fest. Wasn't bad. These two worked really well together. You could tell they worked their asses off. Nightingale at ringside decked Blue with a trash can lid. Both ladies brawled into the crowd. As match is literally 20 seconds in, and Tony Schiavone says that he's never seen anything like this before. And I go, you mean you didn't see the other match 2.5 hours ago, or 2 hours ago, hour and a half ago? The other no DQ match? Blue leapt off the railing, but a chair shot to the face. Nightingale scurried to throw the weapon in from under the ring. She put Blue up on a chair, wanted a tumbleweed, and Blue moved and flattened the chair as we go to a break. When things returned, Blue had a trash can lid in her hand at ringside and charged at Nightingale, but Nightingale hit a big-time pounce instead. Back in the ring, Blue was set up in the corner, holding a chair. Nightingale then charged, and Blue threw the chair in her face. Blue is bleeding at this point as well. Not really sure how. Caliber just said, yeah, if you see that on the head of Sky Blue, she is bleeding from something on the floor, so they didn't know either. Blue then brought a bag from under the ring, and unlike Dynamite, it wasn't hockey pucks. This time it was thumbtacks. Nightingale backed Blue in the corner and wanted a superplex, but Blue slid out and wanted a powerbomb, and then instead grabbed a chair and just threw it at the face of Willow as she's sitting on the top rope. Willow barely got her arm up to block it. Blue wanted to go for the superplex, but Nightingale hit an avalanche spinning fireman's bomb on the tacks instead, but only got a 2 off of it. Nightingale then set up a table at ringside, but ate another chair shot back inside the ring. Nightingale avoided a code Blue, slammed Blue on the chair, tried to go for a moonsault, and crashed and burned. After a thrust kick, Blue went under the ring and pulled out a barbed wire board. She placed it on the table that was at ringside. Blue wanted a Death Valley driver off the apron, but Nightingale instead hit the Doctor Bomb through the barbed wire board, through the table, and pinned her to pick up the victory. There we go. Willow Nightingale defends the TBS Championship as everybody expected. Stokely and Statlander come out to celebrate afterwards. That's all we got. Show immediately just goes off the air. So yeah, fun main event. Two worked really hard. Two worked really good together. And we got some stuff announced for next week. We know next week on Dynamite, Adam Copeland will defend the TNT Championship against Brody King, and Orange Cassidy will take on Trent Beretta one-on-one. Why that's not happening at the pay-per-view? Who the hell knows? Maybe there's a swerve in this match, some sort of like something to set up a bigger match at the pay-per-view. I don't know, but it is officially announced. Orange Cassidy, Trent Beretta next week. But with that, guys, that's everything that took place tonight on AEW Dynamite and AEW Rampage. They also told us no Collision this weekend, but then Collision and Rampage will be returning on May 11th with another 3-hour block. And I went, fuck, 3-hour block, this time on a Saturday. Okay, whatever. But you know what I thought of tonight's show? Now it's time to hear what you guys thought of tonight's AEW Dynamite and Rampage. Let's get these polls up on the screen. So as far as the threads poll does go, 75% liked the show, 13% thought it was just all right, and 13% didn't like it. Looking at the Twitter X poll, 36% liked it, 36% thought it was just all right, and 27% didn't like the show. As we look over at the YouTube community poll, 52% liked it, 24% thought it was just all right, and 23% didn't like it. Well, we got a dumb motherfucker commenting here. Literally says, can't believe Kenny lied about a serious illness. He took multiple blows all over and nothing happened. This dumbass motherfucker thinks that Kenny Omega lied about having diverticulitis. Yeah, you can go to hell, as Khan Supanusumpong would say. Go to hell. Versus says, it was a great night of wrestling. Versus says, the EVP storyline is going to be interesting, and Christian versus Swerve is going to be good. Now, I think the match could be good, Christian versus Swerve, but the match as a whole, as a title match, and the main event of the pay-per-view makes no sense. There's no build to Christian being a challenger, or even a top guy right now. Another person says, very good show. Saraya looked hot, by the way. Okay. Person says, I liked it. And this person says, it was under the charge of the Elite tonight. Both shows. Yeah, it was. But that really didn't make a difference of anything. Other than there was a new intro with the Elite. Looking at the live poll here. 62% liked the show. 23% thought it was just all right. And 14% didn't like it. And then finally, everybody that voted on Twitch said it was just all right. With that, guys, I want to say thank you for joining me here. Twitch.tv/PW Unlimited, YouTube.com/Pro Wrestling Unlimited, and podcast services all around the globe like Stitcher, Spotify, Google Pod, Apple Pod, Anchor, iHeartRadio, and so much more. Remember, we'll be back Friday following Friday Night SmackDown. Then Saturday. So I got to let you guys know, Saturday, we've got WWE Backlash. Now, Backlash is a early show. I think it starts at like 10 Pacific. Well, I've got other obligations, so there will be a review of Backlash Saturday night, not immediately following the show. I'll watch the show live and try to live tweet as much as I can, but I have other obligations that are going to take me away, so I will do a review Saturday night, but it won't be immediately following the pay-per-view. So with that, guys, have a great rest of your night. Have a great rest of your week, and we'll see you back here next time. Have a good one, guys.